Man, here we are, another Gap Mastermind Growth Action Production. Super excited to be here, guys, because I love this topic, and not because I'm the one that's gonna be dropping the fire today, but I'm a fan of time management and life mastery. So today we got a great topic. I know that we got some massive leaders here. We got Kevin. What's up, Kevin? We got Beck in the house. Andre, Gino, what's up? Excited to see so many. Didi, what's up? Violeta, let's get those cameras on, guys. Let's get those cameras on. Anybody wants to chime in? Anybody wants to share some positive focus, something great that's going on in their life before we get started? Unmute. Excited to. This is your platform. This is your house, and always awesome to hear what amazing people have to say, and the value everybody brings to the table.
Hey, Carlos, nice to see you. Hello, everybody. I'm excited about Build at Sea. I'm going to be there, and I'm starting to pack.
Love it.
I can't wait to meet everybody there. Can't wait to see you all.
Oh, man, Bill is going to be amazing. And actually, Royal Caribbean just hit us up. I think there's like 1 or 2 cabins that might be coming back. So if you've got some last minute FOMO, there might be a chance. There might be a chance. And, reach out to the travel team and go to bill@c24.com to take advantage of that. Franny, I don't know if you've got that link and you can drop it in the chat. All right, very good. So who else? I'd like to take one more positive focus before we get started today. So who else got something they want to chime in positive that's going on in your life, good energy into the room? And I would love to see more camera. Violeta, let's go.
I'll do it. I'm excited to be here. I love this group every Monday. It's the best way to start my week. I love everything you guys do. I really appreciate you guys. Rebecca, I appreciate you a ton more. You know, I love you. I'm not happy. I'm missing this. I've never been on a cruise, and I was really looking forward to joining, but next time I surely will. But I have a new agent onboarding, so I'm really happy about that. We have a Mexico certification coming up end of October. So if anyone wants to join, reach out to me. So with my team in Mexico, we're setting up a certification. It's the equivalent of a license in Mexico. You don't need a license in Mexico per se, and there's only 3 states where you need it, but it's coming. It's coming. It's going to come. So we're doing a certification more for knowledge. You know, there's a lot of business going out from here and coming in. So people want to sell their homes, their grandparents' home, their parents' home. And that's where we come in as experts. They look at us. So it's a good time for you guys to go and get certified, understand how the business is done, and really expand our network and our business. I'll give you guys, I'll share with you guys once we have the actual flyer ready, I'll share it with you guys.
Perfect. Love it. Well, thank you so much for sharing. Love the abundance. And, that's what it's all about, guys, making sure that we share, we collaborate, we grow together, we take action, and we increase our production. That's why Gap is so powerful, and that's why we're here today. All right. So the last few days, I've been in Tony Robbins' first ever in his entire career event. And, I did that event virtually, and it was an event about the rapid planning method. Now, I've done Business Mastery with Tony Robbins, Day with Destiny, Unleash the Power Within. I think I've done every event except for the one that is in Fiji. That trip is kind of like scary, but we got Vincent Koo in the house, another Tony fan. What's up, Vincent? So in his entire events curriculum, he does cover what the rapid planning method is and some of the things that you need to do to leverage that. And the first time I learned about it, I started implementing the principles. And as always, in success, you're going to reach a certain level of growth, and then it kind of starts fizzling out, and for everybody that happens. And sometimes we don't recognize that, hey, even though it went down a little bit, we're better today than we were yesterday, before we knew this, before we implemented it, right? So as it went up, I actually never nurtured and went deeper into this topic. So when I saw this opportunity, I was like, absolutely. I know that time management and life management and self-management is a massive, massive key to exponential growth. And I never turn away opportunities to master the craft of what I call self-management, because really it's choices. We make choices. And today, with this breakdown of what RPM is and how to implement it, you'll have a choice. You'll have a choice to tweak some of the things that you're currently doing. You'll have a choice to improve in some areas that will take you on a path to mastery. It's not about a massive, for some of you might be, right? Depending on where you're at, but this is a solid crew. So you guys are rock stars. So you've got some of this cemented, but this is all about tightening the bolts, putting some oils, and implementing different strategies that catapult us to massive success and to the life we want. So I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to dive right into this. All right, let's see where this is at. Can I still see you guys? So don't go hiding. I got a whole spread here. I have my Zoom, my PowerPoint, share screen, got multiple screens. So I'll feed off of your energy. I need to bring in the chat as well, because I am going to make this a little bit interactive. We're going to be workshopping here together, okay? So I want to see your energy in the chat. I want to see you really working, all right, and getting this done, because we're gonna set the RPM in motion. And if you're into racing and cars, RPM is when you rev up and you go a lot faster. So there's a lot to this, all right? So for those of you that might be saying, who's this guy with this accent, and why is he in front of me, and why should I learn from him? I'm not going to get into that story. I'm sorry, because, at the end of the day, a lot of you guys already know me, so I'm not going to bore you. But, I've been in real estate now for 17, 18 years. I probably lost track already. I started when I was 20, have sold thousands of homes. I am one of the co-founders of the Global Alliance, and, have 2,000 plus agents in my organization. Lead one of the top teams in Central Florida, a flex team, the number one. We hit number one in Zillow for the entire state of Florida in flex performance. So yes, focus, management, growth. Believe me, I've been in the trenches. So at the end of the day, I wouldn't have been able to accomplish what I've accomplished without being a student and putting things like RPM in place. So can you guys see my screen right now? Awesome. Very good. So usually I get into my rack to riches story, but we'll leave that for the next time. Here is the challenge that we face today in life. So the challenge is that a lot of us are super achievers. We're super achievers, so we end up totally saying yes to a million things. We end up totally overwhelmed with the demands of others. We end up overworked and underpaid, and not building a life of purpose, building a life of focus and direction, right? So mastering RPM and mastering the art of time management has to do with you deciding what you focus on, all right? It's very different to think about a to-do list. I have to do all these things that get you in motion, And then you, at the end of the day, don't even know what you did because you did so many things. Now, were those things intentional? Were those things your top priority? We want to realize that, it's not about motion, it's about results. But it's about results on the things that matter the most. So when we look at our overwhelm, our darkest hours, the last contract I got to push in, or the last client I got to respond to, realize that we can move a lot faster and with more intensity when we leverage a tool like RPM or a system like RPM, where you can not only accomplish the small things and the little things, but you're crushing the big things. Those big things that sometimes we neglect. All right. So one of the quotes that Tony Robbins, dropped in the RPM event, which, by the way, if you've been to a Tony Robbins event, like literally, we ended at 2 a.m. last night. And, when we were talking about this Gap Mastermind and who was going to be the host and whatnot, I was like, I'm going to go into this event. I love RPM. I love focus. I love time management. I was like, sure, let's go. I'll do it. I'll teach about what I just learned, right? And go deeper with it. And then I'm thinking, I was like, wait a second, I have to wait until the whole event is over. It's probably going to end up in the middle of the night. And then on Monday, I got to go present it. But you know what? That's the best way to master it. When you grab what I'm teaching here today, which is a transfer from knowledge that Tony just taught me a few days ago, or the last few days, and you go and teach it to your team, teach it to your kids. Right? I had Hector taking notes for me, and he had some amazing drawings with the notes and some really cool stuff. Like, it was super fun, right? So sharing it with the family, right? So this is something that gives you kind of an alignment of what we're doing today. It's not about the activity. It's about adding a purpose to those activities. All right. So the goal is to get you away from movement, get you more into a purposeful life, get you away from to-do lists, and get you more into joyful categories of impact. All right. So the goal for today is for you to gain more clarity into what you're doing, why you're doing it, and rev up your RPM to achieve a massive, purposeful life. And I want to give a shout out to Gil and Lorena, who were the ones that introduced me to the world of Tony Robbins. And by the way, a lot of you guys that know me know I'm a systems guy. I'm very much a structure, a no rah-rah kind of guy, very, very even keel kind of guy. Tony Robbins was not my guy. Let's just say that. I always said no to Tony Robbins and Tony Robbins events because I felt it was just a bunch of rah-rah and jumping up and down and massages. I mean, who wants to go to an event to put hands on other people, and have other people put hands on you? I don't know about that, right? But sure enough, Gil is a massive fan of Tony Robbins and Lorena, and they decided to take a bunch of us and introduce us to Tony Robbins. So I'm like, okay, well, I mean, the whole gang is going. I'm not going to stay behind. I'm like, it's like some of you guys that are going to buy the cruise tonight because it's like, everybody's going. It's going to be amazing. I got to find that last ticket in the cruise, right? That's what happened to me with the Tony Robbins event. I decided to go. And what I found was that in the world of Tony Robbins is where we put the heart into systems. Systems by themselves can be very mundane, can be very cumbersome, can be very boring. But when you put emotion, when you put heart, when you put passion, when you put purpose, that's really when you have the entire fuel to achieve massive, massive goals. All right. So we don't experience the life that, we experience the life we focus on, right? So the life that we want to experience comes from where we direct our attention. Where attention goes, energy flows, and so goes our life. This is what a lot of us neglect, right? We neglect the magical moments. We neglect the connection. We neglect the things that, oh, I can do that later when I get here. Well, if you're not doing it today, what is the guarantee that you're going to do it when you get there? Because when you get there, there's going to be yet another goal, and then another goal, and then another goal. And then you're going to end up like the last slide I showed, dark, lonely, in your computer, right? And that's not to say that there's no seasons for everything. I'm a big fan of counterbalance. And this system allows us to counterbalance. That means that sometimes you got to go 100% into one category with passion, with purpose, with energy, 100%. And then as you build momentum, you counterbalance to the next category, right? So yes, I am a believer of sacrifices. I am a believer of getting buy-in from your family and letting them know, hey, the next 6 months, I'm going all out because the market is tough. I need to capitalize and I need to go harder than I've ever ran before. But done with purpose. Enlisting the family, knowing that they're in it with you, that they understand, that they see the effort, that they see the sacrifice, that they see the purpose, and that you're doing it for them, right? When you purposely do that, and then you say, at the end of the 6 months, win or lose, we're doing this, right? We're having this fun. That's purposeful. That's a magical life, all right? So we're going to go over the 3 questions of RPM. So what is RPM? RPM is the rapid planning method. It's 3 letters that have a lot of meaning. A lot of meaning to get you to think differently. It's a thinking system, right? Something for you to analyze what's on your plate and how you take what's on your plate and complete what is most important, what is more priority, and what needs the most attention to get you to the life that you want, right? So the R stands for results. The P, I've said that word a million times already in here, stands for purpose. And the M stands for MAP. Massive action plan. It requires massive action. All right. So this is where we're going to get into a little bit of work. This is where we're going to get into a little bit of action already. All right. So we know that the quality of our life is determined by the quality of the questions we ask ourselves. Right. So if we're going to ask ourselves great questions, then who better than Tony to help us with some of those great questions? So I'm going to challenge you, start asking yourself these questions, all right? And the questions we're going to play with here a little bit. However, this needs more development. This needs more action, but we're going to get into a few of these questions for you. Brother, there's 3 questions that we really need to focus on. All right. So the question number 1 is, what is it that you really want? Right? A lot of times we set these goals and it's like, man, this year I got to get more listings. Right? Is that really a goal? That sounds more like a wish. All right? We say, I want to lose some weight. Really? Lose some weight, but how much weight? So if you lose 0.02, celebrate, you won? Or is it 10 pounds? Is it by the end of the year? What is it that you really want? That's the results that you're after that drive your actions. So I want you to start with this question and write down 2 or 3 things right now that you want for the remainder of this year. This is perfect spot. We're in the middle of the year pretty much, right? So over the next 6 months, what are some things that you want? Want more magical moments? Maybe a vacation? Maybe 2? You want more business success? Maybe you want more buyers? Maybe you want more sellers? Maybe you want to streamline your system, do a new website. And then we need to think about this with the SMART framework, right? Specific, measurable, attainable, right? Relative to what you're doing, and time bound. What you want is the first step in RPM. So I want to see in the chat 1 or 2 examples of what you guys are writing down, some of the goals that you guys are writing down, because we're going to use that as we go along here to create the RPM. So this is a building block. So these questions lead to additional items that we'll be completing. So who's going to be the first one? I'd like to see 1 or 2 examples of what do you want? Very good. Van investment property by mid-August. Is that by mid-August, like in 20 days? That's what's up.
Yes, yes.
Love it.
I'm ready.
Very awesome. So that's a great one. I love it. With my hard work and dedication, I will be debt free and attend all the EXP events. Awesome. Love it, Chris. You know, I'm a big fan of being debt free. Like I talk about it all the time. I love it. This year, boom, came in clutch with the time bound. Excellent job, Chris. All right, I'll take 1 more. I'll take 1 more. Get 6 listings of 1 million or more so that I can travel with my family. Woo, I love it. 1 million plus listings. All right, and the time frame for that. Let's add the time frame. And then Monica, I want to close 30 transactions by the end of the year. Love it. Very good. All right, so these are desires, but are result oriented, right? So that's our R in the RPM. So as you develop this framework, every time you think about something, it's like, oh, I need to do this. All right, well, if you need to do that, then is it something that we need to RPM? And there's more to it. So we'll get to the next question. All right, we got by end of year. Very good. Love it. $6 million listings. All right, so let's see if this clicker, I'll probably just click with my mouse here. All right, so this is the second question. So with those goals that you all set, right? Everybody is setting 1 or 2 or 3, writing down some goals, right? Some results that you decide, results that excite you, results that, man, I want to accomplish that, right? Now, a lot of people just do that. We've all been guilty of that. We set all these goals, and yeah, that fuels you. However, many times we don't even know the why behind it, right? So the P is for purpose driven. All right. So like one of the comments in the chat mentioned becoming debt free, right? And becoming debt free has a lot of positive, a lot of amazing things that brings to the table. So capturing that and figuring out, why is it that I want to do this? What is the purpose that's going to drive me when it gets tough? That's the second step in the RPM process. So I want you all to take a couple minutes and find a purpose to tie to those goals that you just dropped in the chat or that you wrote in your notebook. All right. So am I doing it for my family, for my legacy? Am I doing it because I want to, build wealth? The investment property example. Like, why are you doing it? And if you're done with why you're doing it and you want to drop it in the chat, then go ahead and drop it. I'd love to see some examples. These examples help everybody, by the way. So you're contributing to the environment here by dropping these examples, because some people need to see in action in order for them to, I get it. So I really appreciate you guys doing this exercise and sharing, because that contributes to everybody that's here and everybody that's watching the replay and all of that. So thank you so much. So let's drop some purpose-driven statements around some of these goals. And if you didn't drop a goal and now you got your result and you want to drop the result and the purpose all in one, cannonball, absolutely do it. We'd love to see that. All right, very good. Investment property purpose, cash flow, and growing of real estate investment portfolio. I want you to go a little bit deeper into the emotion, right? Like, how is that going to make you feel? So, what is the emotional anchor that you're going to get out of getting that positive cash flow and growing that real estate portfolio? I mean, that's amazing, right? So what is that emotion, that feeling, that connection? And why do you get that emotion? Is it because you feel freedom? You feel like you're building something for the future? Like, what is that emotion? Okay, so we got the next example here. Very good. So financial freedom, right? So financial freedom, like that's just such an amazing goal, right? I want to be financially free, right? And how do you feel knowing that you're financially free? Utilize the income for investment and charitable contributions. Wow. So I'm making an impact, charitable contributions, and giving back to those less fortunate. How does that make you feel? Like, oh man, I feel amazing making a contribution. My hard work, dedication got me to this goal, and now I can make this impact. Very good. Awesome. Icon status, love it. So that's an amazing goal, right? I'm just like, man, I want to be an icon. I want to get to the summit. I want, like, how is that gonna feel? Like you getting that stock in your seeing it in your phone, like, wow, I got the stock award. Oh my God, I got the Chinese award delivered to my house in a beautiful box. And how does that make you feel? That purpose. And by the way, a lot of us sometimes get cloudy into what purpose is and what living a purposeful life is. Sometimes we feel like, am I on track to meet my purpose? What really is my purpose? What am I doing in this world? I'm not eradicating malaria like Bill Gates. you know, or sending a colony to Mars, like Elon Musk, like I'm not doing anything here, right? And we start feeling down and our physiology changes and we're all like, oh my God, we're such a failure, like drop it. You decide what the next step in your purpose is, right? That purpose is decided by your next action. So I am going to sell 30 houses and get income. That's an amazing purpose. Absolutely awesome. That's a purpose. And there's no one purpose. It's multiple purposes based on different categories of your life. So when you are setting a goal with a result and a purpose tied to it, you are living a purposeful life. You're living a life of purpose. You are living this world better off today than it was yesterday, just because of that small step you took. And sometimes we do things that seem insignificant, and they still ripple and make a massive impact. All right. So it's like what they say, when a butterfly flaps its wings, it sends ripples across the whole world, right? We are butterflies. We are setting ripples ahead. So let's see one more here from the results. All right. So Gino got me the goal and the purpose. Let's see. Close 21 transactions by January to make 100K. Love it. Allow us to relocate. I don't blame you, man. That relocation over there sounds good. Winters are rough. I don't know where you're going though, so might be colder where you're going. You might enjoy it. But comfortably with the majority of expenses paid. All right. So, you know, financial stability, financial freedom, relocation, time bound, absolutely awesome, right? So those are some of the things that, you know, when you create a vision board, what drives you more, right? Say, oh, I'm going to sell 21 transactions, or put like 100,000K big, and then you put like the place where you're relocating beautiful, right? And you're like, wow, man, when I sell these 21 homes, boom, the cash is going to come in, my relocation is going to come in, I'm going to be able to do all these things. That drives that energy, all right? Very good. So the purpose of business is to fund a perfect life. Yeah, a life of fulfillment. Now, what is your perfect life? That's different for different people. And, you know, also remember that we want to be obsessed with progress, not perfection, right? Progress, not perfection, because perfection is impossible, right? So what is your progress? What is that next amazing thing that makes your life more joyful, more impactful, more, you know, enjoyable, right? So that's really the power of this exercise that we're doing. All right, so we're going to move on to the third question. You guys are doing amazing. You know, give some fire in the chat, some love emojis. Like, let's bring some energy for all of you, because you are participating and doing incredible. So I'm super blessed to be here with you, because you guys are making this absolutely awesome. All right. So the third question is where the rubber meets the road, right? This is really when we hit the ground running. A massive action plan, not a little action plan, not a like, hey, maybe I'll do it, maybe I won't plan. No, this is a massive action. All success comes from massive action. Period. The end. Right? I was coaching an agent recently that, you know, their sales dropped dramatically. And as we went down through the process, it ended up being that, you know, they let their foot off the pedal just a little bit, like maybe 10%, 15%, perhaps 20%. And that had a massive drop, right? The difference between you being at the top of your game and you being back to average, because we all start somewhere, right? And we go from horrible to average to better to rock star to world class, right? And then sometimes, you know, we go down. The difference is the intensity. That extra 20%. Now, you guys know better than anybody, the market right now, our industry right now is not for getting our foot off the pedal. Now, the stress and the distractions would lead us to that if we're not in the right empowerment environment, would lead us to not take the massive action that we need to take. And it just got harder. It's not pandemic sales, right? It's 2024 sales is a little bit different. You got to call more people, go out on more showings, prospect more. And that 20% is the difference from you hitting icon or you just being a capper. Yeah, that's the gap. It's not like, oh, I'm going to do 80% and I'll still be a $10 million producer. Maybe I won't be a $50 million or $20 million producer, but I'll be a $10 million producer. The reality is that most of the time when you lose the foot of the pedal, you don't take massive action. You don't go with intensity, with purpose, with drive, with determination. When you don't go at that speed, it's not a small drop, it's a massive drop. So you're either massively dropping or you're massively growing with your massive action plan. All right. So what specific actions do I need to take to get to that purpose and get the result that I want? So remember, your result, sell 30 houses or sell 21 houses before the end of the year, or your result of buying an investment property. And then you have your purpose, your reason why. And then what are the action steps? What actually needs to happen? What is the game plan? Right? A goal without a plan, it's just a wish. So I want you to take a couple minutes and just start jotting down the first couple of things, or 2 or 3, right, that you would need to do to accomplish the goal that you set. That result-driven goal. So take a little bit of time to do that. All right, so we already got some fast action taken. That's what I talk about. Massive action right here. 2 appointments per week will get me to reach the goal. Very good. So that's action, right? So I need to do 2 appointments per week. Could you break it down further? Like, okay, how many dials do I need to do to get those appointments? How many leads do I need, maybe? Right? And what are the different action items that will be required for you to do that? So let's take a little bit of time and do that. Very good. $15 contacts per day. Awesome. That's it. That's the action, right? It doesn't get any more granular than that. Like 15 contacts per day gets me my purpose and my result. Now, the cool thing about the purpose is that, the purpose is the fuel, right? So the purpose, when things get rough, remembering why you're doing it is what drives you to continue to do it. Because the excitement that you have when you set your result, your goal, eventually fizzles down. It does for all of us. You're like so excited, like, yeah, I'm gonna get this done. Amazing. Oh, I'm top of the world icon. What's up? And then what happens? Life gets in the way and it gets stopped. And literally you need to break through walls in order to get what you want. So when you remember the purpose, when you remember the big reasons why you're doing this goal, then you take the action, the mundane, the 15 contacts. It's like, oh man, I gotta call these 15 contacts. Oh my God. Now it's like, oh man, I'm gonna call these 15 contacts because I'm gonna hit icon. And when I hit icon, it's gonna be amazing, right? So that is the massive action plan that we need to focus on. I'd like to see a couple more actions here. So let's see if you guys can drop some more actions. I just want to make sure you guys are doing the work. right? Well, this is a workshop. So we have to do the work. All right, we got some more here. All right, so to get that investment property, we're going to analyze properties, right? Make sure they're in that buy box. Make offers, all right? Partner with others, and just get that property under contract, right? So those are some actions. I would make those actions also measurable, like, okay, how many properties am I going to analyze this week to get to my goal of finding that investment property here in the next 30 days, right? I'd love to take one more. Make my calls every day. Love it. How many calls? Get that measurable results. All right, a lot. All right, 2 hours of calling every day. Perfect. Now we're into measurable territory. I love it. Very good. So again, as I told you at the beginning, you are going to want to go back and go deeper with this and set more goals and whatnot. The cool thing is that, hey, RPM is pretty simple. The moment you have something in front of you, you're going to decide to create an RPM process for it, and it will help you not only make it result-oriented, but purposeful, and create a plan for it, all right? So let's now go into the next layer here. So these goals that we're setting, right? This RPM, what Tony Robbins calls RPM blocks. And we're going to break that down a little bit in a moment. We're going to put them into categories, right? So what are some goal categories? What are some goal categories that we have in our life? So I want you to put it in the chat. So what are some categories, like the top level category of a goal? Let's see who's got some examples in the chat. Very good. Athletic, academic, career. Excellent. Got some more categories. Health, business, personal. Perfect. Love it. All right. Who's got one more? Anything we're not seeing here? I mean, there is one that's been mentioned that nobody has dropped here, meaning your goals would fit under some of that. Spiritual, fitness, business. Very good. Awesome. The one I was thinking about was financial, right? So financial is one that people have. Financial freedom, paying debt, stuff like that. All right. This is what we do, right? We put these goals into these categories, and it just looks like, cool. I'm working towards my health, right? But remember, goals are really not about the goals. And if you don't know that, well, write it down. And if you forgot it, then you need to write it down. It's not about the goal. It's about the journey. It's about the person you are becoming along the way. Because as you accomplish something new, something challenging, something that stretches you, that breaks you. It's like when you go to the gym and it hurts that first week or two, and your muscles are breaking, then they get bigger, right? Like you became a bigger person because you went through that work. So saying health doesn't say who you became, right? Language is very powerful, and language either drives us or keeps us stagnant. So one of the big things that we have to do is change our language when it comes to these categories, because we want to make these categories more exciting, right? So instead of, just to give you some language examples, instead of saying have to, you can say get to. Oh, I have to make my 15 calls. No, I get to make these calls today. It's awesome. Making progress towards my goal. Language is powerful, right? So you're mistaken, you're wrong, you're a liar. Those are different ways to say something. You're calling somebody a liar, that's war out loud, immediately, right? You're wrong leads to a disagreement. Right? If you say, hey, I think you might be mistaken. Oh, it's a little softer, right? So language is very key. Now you can say, I'm going to become a stockbroker, or I'm going to become a top agent. Sure, that's cool. Top agent, not bad language, maybe a little bit played out. But treasure hunter, nah, that's kind of like, whoa, man. Like, yeah, if I'm a stockbroker and I become a treasure hunter, that like, I go on a dinner party, it's like, what do? I'm a treasure hunter. What? Yeah, I hunt for treasures. What do you mean? I find the best stocks. I help my friends and family and, my network make a ton of money with it. Oh, so you trade stocks? Yeah, manage your portfolio, but looking for treasure. That's totally different, right? And these are the things that we get to tell ourselves too. So another example is when you're looking at a school teacher, if a school teacher is referencing themselves as a disciplinarian, that might even lead to different action versus a developer of human spirit. Totally different frame of mind and totally different action. So how are you going to rewire your categories? All right. So you need to set these categories in, an organized manner with powerful titles. So for example, let's say you're working on your health. Who are you becoming? Who are you becoming? Are you like a fitness maven or a deliciously hot, whatever X, right? Like what gives you that excitement? Like, who are you becoming? Because that's the cool thing. It's not about I dropped 10 pounds. Like, really? That's it? Like, drop 10 pounds? No. It's like, oh man, I became this. And that's different for everybody. So leveraging that language is going to really take things to the next level. So your words become your experience. Your words become your experience. Your language becomes your experience. So when you refer to something in a negative manner, it disempowers you and it derails you. And that's where you don't continue to take the actions that you need to take. All right. So I want, once again, in the chat, give me some labels for some of these categories, right? Like have some fun. I want you to drop in the chat some labels for, your business or your fitness. Like, who are you becoming in business? Who are you becoming in fitness? Like it doesn't have to be even 2 words. It could be 5 words, or it could be multiple things. I'm becoming this, and that. Boom, right? So let me see some examples there. Triathlete. Oh man, that's what's up. See some more. Some energy, some passion. So I'm telling you, this is the cool thing. This is the glue that makes this so massive. When you add this fun, this excitement, when you realize that, man, these goals are molding me into this. All right, building a trusted brand, all right? We all want to build a trusted brand, but we don't think about it every day. Now, if you have that bucket, that category, and then you put things into that category, you put RPM blocks into that category, then this is leading me to this. Love it. Becoming an icon agent. That's what's up. All right, so we got one more piece of this puzzle, so I'm gonna fast track it so we can keep moving forward here. But definitely, again, go deeper with this, put more work into it. The last piece of this puzzle is, now, how do you build this RPM blocks efficiently so that it doesn't get overwhelming. Because a lot of the time we end up with a massive to-do list, like all these things I got to do. But what we don't realize is that in the world of goal setting or, getting to your purpose, some of those things might actually be actions within a purpose and a result. Some of the things that you're mentioning in the chat might just be an action that go into one of the RPM blocks. So chunking is a process of simplifying the overwhelm, right? Simplifying the to-do list and realizing that some of these things are really not different, but the same. So we'll give you an example. This is a to-do list. And in this to-do list, we're taking the going, running, buying the running shoes, lifting weights, and scheduling a massage, right? And we're putting that into 1 RPM, which is, a fitness goal, whatever that is. So, for example, it might be run a triathlon, right? So that might be the goal, the result. And that includes getting the running shoes, going running, lifting weights, and also, getting the massage so that the muscles stay good and you can run more, right? So that right there all goes into one. So these are not multiple. So you're not creating 4 different RPM blocks, then you're totally overwhelmed. So how do we create this block? So this is an example, okay? And this is the holy grail of implementation here. So basically this block, you're going to put the massive action plan, your results, the outcome, which is the main goal, and then the purpose here, right? Now, this one obviously is in the works. So this is kind of not finalized. This is like as you're doing it. And then you're looking at, okay, how do I make this measurable, attainable, time-bound, right? And then even this, you're going to set times for it. So you're going to put the duration, whether it's leverage to somebody else, and which are the most do's, the priorities that you really, this has to happen, no matter what. The other ones are good, nice to have in here, but these ones have to get done. All right. So again, this is the thinking system. It's like, oh, I want to accomplish X because that's going to lead me to become that fitness rock star, or, that icon agent, or, whatever that big, juicy, exciting name is of that, category. This is molding me into that person. And this goal goes along with that. And then you break it down from there. All right. So once you have this in here, it is do or do not. There's no try. It's like, oh, I'm going to try to make my 15 calls. No. It's like, okay, we need to put in the calendar. You need to put in the calendar and schedule it. All right. So one of the things that we can do before even we schedule it is we can leverage. And this was a massive breakthrough for me when I learned the difference between delegation and leverage. Right? Who knows the difference between delegation and leverage? Yeah, Yoda is definitely the bomb, Gino. I totally agree. Anybody knows the difference between delegation and leverage? All right. Well, for the sake of time, maybe we'll skip the Q&A on that one. But delegation, which is we love to delegate, right? Delegation is you literally drop something on somebody's plate, walked away, and you're like, okay, I'm out of that one. Woof, I don't have to do it anymore, right? That's you delegated it. You're not monitoring the result. Delegation is where a lot of projects can go to die because that person might not be great at self-managing the project. they might need still your input, but you go ghost on them. And now they lose leverage, you lose leverage, and the project loses leverage, and it doesn't get done. So leverage, the difference with leverage is leverage comes from a lever, right? Now, a lever doesn't move the object on its own. A lever still needs your hands to move the object, right? To whatever is moving. So when you're looking at your tasks, yes, you can assign or leverage a task to somebody else, and that becomes a leverage piece for you as a tool. However, you checking in with them is that pull. You checking in to see how progress is going, to see if they need support, to see if they have questions, to get a progress report. That is ultimately the power of leverage. And you can move a lot faster because nobody's in the dark and you get the results exactly how you want it. So leveraging is part of the process as you create your goal setting and your blocks. All right. You want to focus on your best and leverage the rest as much as possible, right? We all start mapping the floors and cleaning the toilets and picking up the trash. And, we're entrepreneurs, we do everything. Eventually, we start leveraging some pieces. However, if you just delegate it and that person doesn't have any accountability, chances are you're going to lose momentum. And eventually, that task is not going to be to your standards because you're not really managing the result. But you definitely want to focus on your 20%, your greatness area, and then go to the rest. All right. So the last piece is scheduling, right? So once you have your RPM block and all of that strategized and ready, you're either leveraging the task or scheduling the task. Put it in your calendar. All right. We all know that only what gets scheduled will happen. So my challenge for you today is schedule more time to identify some more goals that require that RPM block, some more goals that need to make it into your schedule. Work on your categories, make them exciting. If that's all you get out of this, that alone is massive shift. Who are you becoming? Who are you becoming in the process of your personal journey of all these goals? Are you just an icon agent? Are you just an investor? Or there's more to that? Go deeper, analyze it, and implement these strategies. And that is the end. So we're right at the hour. Appreciate your time and you guys being here. If anybody has any questions or anything, I'm happy to go over time, but I know we're out of time. So feel free to drop off if you don't have any questions or don't want to hear any of the questions, or maybe there's no questions. But at the end of the day, this is a very simple process. And a lot of what Tony Robbins does, super simple, but what's easy to do is also easy not to do. And simple solves the complex. We have a complex, overwhelming to-do list, but this simple process can help us, get the results, stay on purpose, and build the life that we desire. All right? Very good. So wrap. We'll see you in the next one, guys. Every Monday here, Gab. And if you're going to the cruise, amazing. If you're not going, why not? Get a ticket. Still time. There might be a couple cabins still left there. So excited to see a lot of you guys in person very, very soon. That's it for now. Thank you.